Today, I want to talk to you about self-trust. To me, this is one of the most important components of living successfully. And I mean living, not just your business, but your life overall. Because if you cannot trust yourself, you're going to constantly wobble. So if you're finding yourself in those places where you're afraid of what other people would think, or you're procrastinating, or you're not sure if you got what it takes, and all these internal inalignments, that means that you are not trusting yourself. You are not having your own back. And without that, nothing can happen, because then you're forever living like a child looking for a parent. Okay, that's why we're talking about it. Obviously, you have the internal grown-up adult within you, right? You're a person who's been living your life and somewhat successfully to whatever degree. So we all have that higher self piece. Without that, nobody can function. If you have your business that is doing pretty well, or if you're just starting your business, if you are at the place where you are recognizing that in order for me to fully step into what I meant to do, to live my soul work in the world and to get paid well for doing that, I need to actually feel like I know what I'm doing. That is not something that's going to happen by you getting another certification or having somebody approve of you. That happens by internally trusting yourself. That's why we're talking about. So self-trust is one of the absolutely foundational components of building success in your life and in your business. And as a business coach, as a personal transformation expert for over 20 years now, this is what one of the main pieces I've been helping my clients with, because without that, nothing could work. Even if you have the perfect strategy for your business, even if you created amazing marketing campaign with your words and your copy for your website or whatever, it doesn't matter, because the energetics are off. And we always know that energetics come first, right? You have to be in the right energy and then apply the correct strategy. If you are in an energy that's messy, that's confusing, that's not aligned with who you meant to be in your highest sense, then no matter how amazing your strategy is for business or marketing or messaging, it's not going to have as much of an impact. And if you are the go-getter type and you're pushing and you're kind of going full force because you're not going to give up, you're going to make it happen, well, that makes it very hard with a lot of friction if you don't trust yourself. Because then you're constantly overriding this internal freak out. So if you're noticing that that's happening, self-trust might be an issue. And self-trust is not just listening to your intuition. It's a lot of other components. But here, first, let's look at what it feels like within you when that's not quite happening. If you are not trusting yourself, your soul mission, you might think like, well, I need to know first what my mission is. I need to know first what I'm supposed to do. I need to know first that it's all going to be okay, that I'm prepared. All these things are stories. They are not actually required for you to show up with the correct energetics. And we first want to have the right energy within us in order to show up, to have a universe respond to us. When you have the right energy, you are creating a broadcast, a resonance that then the universe responds to. And it's sort of like following the breadcrumbs. You did something, universe give you something. You did something, universe give you something. And that's how you are able to arrive to any dream you could have imagined through shortcuts, magically, without having to push and force and put pressure on yourself. So if you right now finding yourself avoiding, procrastinating, being afraid of something, and then okay, I need to do this. I have this to-do list. This is on my list for past 2 weeks. It needs to happen. Or maybe you don't even have a list. Maybe you don't know what to do, but you're avoiding finding out what needs to happen, like avoiding doing some research. Maybe you, the type that gets stumped with well, I don't know how to do this. I need to know how to do this, but I don't, as if somehow other people have this magical download from the universe on how to do it, and you did not get the download. In reality, it's just you procrastinating and avoiding, going on searching on Google or YouTube or something and figuring out how other people did it, or asking somebody that might have an answer proactively and applying it right away, trying it, testing it, right? So if you are procrastinating and avoiding, it's very tempting to say that, oh, I need a app that's going to help me not procrastinate, like a productivity app, or I need to have lists and be more organized. That's my problem. But in reality, the actual issue is much deeper than that. That goes back to self-trust. If you are avoiding, if you're procrastinating, if you're pushing things further away and refuse to do them, even though you internally know that this is something you kind of need to do for your business to grow, then you want to look at where is the lack of trust. And we mistranslate trust a lot. Trust is not that there's some parent out there that's going to guarantee that you, the child, are going to be safe and protected and everything's going to work out perfectly the way the child wants. That does not exist. Okay, there is no guarantee in the universe. It does not exist outside of you. So if you are avoiding and procrastinating, the clue is you need to first look in, where am I not trusting myself? Where am I giving my authority away to somebody else? Maybe what you're trying to do is not actually something you need to do. And you internally kind of know it, and that's why you're avoiding it and procrastinating on it. So you need to look at, is the action that you think you need to do actually something that is aligned? And if you find out that it's not, well, then you need to figure out a better way to do what the result you want, bypassing or somehow not going into the action that you feel is not aligned. Not aligned is not the same thing as uncomfortable, by the way. So if you are in a place where you're like, well, let's say I need to go on video and promote this program, but I'm uncomfortable with video, so that means it's not aligned. That's not true. That simply means that your lower self is taking over. So that brings us to a second component of, like, how do you know that you're not in self-trust, is you're listening to your lower self instead of your higher self. So if your higher self says, okay, I have a mission, I have a message, this program I've created for my clients is, I know that this is what I meant to do and how I serve my clients. I know that they need this from me, and I'm very good at delivering this. I have clients that have results. Now I just need to put it out there and start talking about it without minimizing my power. But then you freak out over, let's say, being on video or writing a post or something like that, or pitching yourself to different events or podcasts. So then you essentially avoiding visibility because you're listening to the lower self voice. And the lower self is the inner child that's scared and wounded. So that part of us, and we all have it, that part will always try to keep us safe by not doing the thing that is scary. So obviously you can't function like that in life if you always avoid everything that is uncomfortable, because everything you want in life is on the other side of your fear. All the success you want, all the money that you want to bring through your business, all the amazing transformations that you want your clients to have, all of them are on the other side of you going through this field of discomfort. Discomfort is not pain. Discomfort, it just simply means that you're stepping into the unknown. So I want you to rephrase that within yourself, reframe how you're looking at it. Instead of like, oh, this thing I don't want to do, it's not aligned because it's uncomfortable. First of all, from my higher self, is it actually aligned? Because if it is, then it's okay that I have to be a little uncomfortable to do it, because I know that discomfort is me going through this transformation of myself. It's me stepping out of something I know into where what I want exists. Because if what you wanted existed where you were comfortable, you would already have it. The reason you don't have it is because it's outside of what you already know. So we know that we attract to us something based on frequency. If you are in a vibratory range that does not include what you want to have, you cannot have it. So that's why discomfort is a part of arriving at what you want, part of manifestation of anything in your life and your business, of course. Because if you want something that's frequency-wise more expanded range, that means you need to expand outside of your comfort zone, out of your lower self-protection mode, to what your higher self knows, to what your soul knows. to the bigger part of you. And that for a human personality is an uncomfortable moment. But you can do hard things. You can do uncomfortable moments. As long as you don't have to live in there for short periods of time, that is actually very healthy. And that builds your self-trust. So that's how we come back to, if you trust your higher self, that what you feel is correct actually is something for you, and then you choose to make a step towards it, even though you are uncomfortable in the moment of doing it, and maybe it doesn't come out perfect, maybe it's messy, maybe like all this stuff, it's okay, because you are listening to your higher self. So another way how you can know you're in mistrust is if you're listening to all your lower self fears. Okay. And another one that I think is one of the most common ways that I hear from my clients all the time is when we are trying to guarantee that everything will be as we want it. So as I said earlier, this is the inner child wanting the parent to give her some sort of a guarantee ahead of time that everything she wants will work out as she wanted. First of all, that's just immature. Second, you don't know. You have access only to your own perspective. But universe, God, source, whatever bigger perspective there that you see, that has access to everything. So quantum field knows better than you because it's bigger, because it encompasses everything. So by us saying, I want it this specific way and only this way, and this is the only way how I can be comfortable and happy, we're actually limiting what could happen and quite often creating hardship. We're definitely creating friction this way. So if you think about it from the standpoint of walking through quantum doors, creating and opening some quantum portals that are magical, that create these leaps that everybody wants, in your business, for example, when you starting to sell a program that, let's say, now is $10,000, when before you were selling a program for $1,000, because you have upgraded yourself, you have upgraded what you're offering, and now you're at a completely different level, 10xing what you did before. That's a quantum leap. It does not have to take years. It could take just one step that is correct if there is self-trust. Because without self-trust, we end up with, but what if it doesn't work? What if they don't like me? What if this is not going to sell? What if I'm going to hear a no? Entrepreneurship is pretty much about being able to handle rejection without taking it personally. Because if you can do that, then nothing can stop you. Not everybody who you're going to tell about what you do are going to want to work with you. Not everybody that you're going to promote your offer to are going to say yes. Not everybody who's going to watch your video will even watch it to the end. If we assume that we only done well and we are safe by getting exactly what we want, we can't move at all. You literally will be just parked in your life where you are now. So looking for a guarantee that everything will be perfect, that everything will work out, that you're perfectly prepared, and now nobody's going to, be upset with you or laugh at you or not like you or whatever, that is lack of self-trust. Because when you're in self-trust, something else happens that actually allows you to create what you want in your life and in your business. See, business is a combination of correct business strategies and market positioning and messaging and how you align your pricing and overall your strategy in your business. So that is required if you want to generate income, if you want it to be more than a hobby, but an actual business. It's a given, it's a foundation. But what propels it forward is your energy. And if your energy is not based in self-trust, you end up with all these distortions. Distortions like fear of discomfort and procrastination and avoidance and looking for guarantees and what will other people think, and fears and fears and fears. And all those fears, if you really kind of look at what they go back down to, they always go back to lack of self-trust. What does self-trust actually means and how do we create it? Instead of thinking that it's something that's supposed to happen magically. It's not. It's something you literally can manufacture within yourself. So self-trust is when you are aligned with your soul mission, when you are aligned with your soul design, and when you feel in your body, you're anchored in the present moment. Think of it like embodied soul design, embodied mission of what you meant to bring, your gifts, and then with that stepping forward. That's what self-trust is. It's having this alignment on the inside. So how do we build self-trust? Well, step one is follow through on what you know is right. So half of the time we literally say like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then we don't do it. I'm going to do it today. And then you don't do it today. Or I'm going to show up. I'm going to like, I'm ready. I'm excited. And then, oh, now I'm scared and I don't want to do it. Every time you tell the universe that you're going to do something, but then you don't do it, you're creating mistrust with yourself and you're actually miscreating your dream. You're miscreating your business because how are you trustworthy? Universe looks at you and says like, okay, well, sometimes she says she's going to do it and then she does it. Sometimes she says she's going to do it and then doesn't not. And quite often she does not. Well, then over time, it's like, okay, so whatever she says doesn't matter. And we know that words have power. So think of it. You're stating something, right? You're setting your intention, you're stating something, and then you don't follow through. That creates misalignment, miscreating what you want. Instead of giving you what you desire, it just creates pain and friction and lack of results. So in order for you to have the results that you want, you have to train yourself to follow through. This is one of the things that like I've always been doing that, and I'm impeccable with that because to me, this is the main reason that things work in my life is because I trust myself so much. That trust is simply built on, I know that if I decided to do something, it's going to get done. If I said something, it's going to get done. And everybody in my world knows this. Like my clients know if I said I'm going to say I'm going to do it, it's going to be done. If I'm going to send them something, I'm going to send them something. If I'm going to create a course on something and I mentioned that, you better believe it, that course will be created. So whatever it is that I internally decided to do will be done because I followed through. And if this sounds like really big for you right now, well, then look at very small things. Did you tell yourself you're not going to have this cookie with your tea, but then you went and had the cookie? Okay, so you need to look at like, where am I not following through on my decisions? Maybe you said, I'm going to get back to this person. It's a good idea. Maybe you went for a walk and you downloaded this beautiful something that you needed to maybe put in a video like, oh my God, this would be great to tell my client to write about it. And then you never wrote that post and you never made that video. If you follow through on what you're downloading, what you're getting, what ideas you arrive at internally, every time that they happen in a short period of time, and your job is to make that period as short as possible, like ideally right away, if not right away, in an hour or at least in the same day. The more you do that, the more you're going to build your self-trust. You're going to have incredible, powerful ability to trust yourself and not feel ever wobbly because you got the power. So that power that you want to move forward in life, that's how you build it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you must listen to your higher self. Just like earlier, we talked about the lower self stories about, but this is uncomfortable, but I can't do this because, but if I do this, then this happened. Oh, I'm not prepared enough. And all this other stuff that just causes avoidance, procrastination, and not showing up pretty much. That diffuses your power. So self-trust is built on being your higher self. Okay, it's actually quite easy. It's not so much about like, oh, I need to like learn all this big thing. Just tune into what is your inner child and what is your inner adult, and be the adult. You can still have the child on the inside, like doubts and whatever. That's okay. It's allowed to be on the inside, but it's on the inside. It's your responsibility to never act from that place. You act from the place of the higher self. And as long as you do that, you're naturally building your self-trust. You're naturally feeling more confident. This is where this internal certainty comes from, because you are living now from the place of your higher self. Your higher self is the part of you that is aligned with your higher qualities. This is the part that is kind. This is the part that's compassionate. This is the part that's patient. This is the part that maybe can tell the truth, even if it's hard, and so on. You know that piece of yourself that exists, but look where your actual identity, your current human personality anchors. If it anchors more in the inner child that complains and procrastinates and all of that, instead of that other part, That's part of the problem with self-trust. So if you shift more into the identity of you as the higher self, now from that place, it's essentially holding yourself to a higher standard at all times. How would you think at this time? How would you talk at this time? How would you act at this time? Notice I said think first, because that involves the inner world. So being the higher self is not just about externally looking like you're a person that adheres to higher standards. It's actually internally fully being her. That means that you are consciously aware of the thoughts you're having, of the emotions you're having, how you're responding or reacting to circumstances. And you do so from the higher self part. As long as you do that, you're naturally building your self-trust, which then activate your manifestation ability, which then creates ease and flow in addition to the strategies that you're already applying in your business. Okay? So that was number 2. And the number 3 is you must create your own guarantee. This is something that I teach my clients. This is what's written in my Wealth by Soul Design book. So if you don't have that, go get it, wealthbysouldesign.com. Tons of bonuses, and it will show you in that book how you can build your own guarantee. The guarantee does not come from the outside. This idea that somehow everything will work out perfectly, it's a childhood dream. It's an immature perception. In the grown-up way, from the soul level, the guarantee comes from the internal certainty and alignment and a lot of trust of yourself. So this is where you might have a mistranslation of what trust means. You might be thinking that trust means like, oh, I trust the universe, means that it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to give me something I don't want. It's going to not feel bad. It's going to give me exactly how I want it. It's going to feel good. It's going to be great. That's again back to the childhood mistranslation. Because in that case, the trust simply means it's like I trust my parent to protect me. That is not the job of the universe because it is not your parent. It simply responds to your energy. You got to be your own parent. That's why the number 2 part about being your higher self is so important. If you are your higher self and you standing in the follow through of everything that you're doing, so you're building your self-trust, you're naturally going to create this internal certainty. And that certainty is your own guarantee. It's a guarantee that I know that if I committed to something, it's going to unroll in front of me. Maybe not all at once, but I know I trust myself to follow through on a smaller steps, and then universe is going to give me more breadcrumbs to follow, and before long, I will be exactly where I need to be. That's how you build self-trust. So if you are right now in a place in your business when you're realizing that, okay, I need some internal personal work that need to be done for me to arrive to actually generating lots of income through my soul work and creating the impact in the human collective that I know I'm meant to have, that means you need to start adjusting these 3 components that I was mentioning, right? Which is the follow through on what you know is right, listening to your higher self, no matter what, and acting only from that place and building your own internal guarantee. So you stop projecting that guarantee onto some made up parent out there. Okay. And if you're finding that this is something that you right now struggling with in your business, but you know that you meant for bigger things that you're tinkering with right now, and you really, 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 really know in your being that this is what you want, then you and I should talk, because this is literally what I do with my clients. I'm not a traditional business coach that's just going to teach you business strategy. If you don't have a correct strategy, yes, we will adjust it or build one. Marketing and messaging and find your niche and figure out how to put together your offer, all of that. Like I can help you with that. But my specialty is bringing your energetics into it so that you build your business in a unique way that is yours. Because I fully believe that every person is unique. It's not about some cookie cutter solution like this is the process, just follow that and it works. There are strategies that work, and pretty much all proven strategies are good, but not all of them you need. You need only specific strategies that apply to you. And that means the internal, the mindset, the energetics is part of that strategy. This is what we always go into in all my programs. no matter how you come into my world, if you're reading my books or if you are in my Conscious Future Mastermind, which is awesome, by the way. You definitely need to be in it if you want your business to go to the next level, because it's a 4-month shortcut to really go to selling high ticket offers that are soul aligned in a way that feels right for you. If you want some of my courses, so you do like self-study programs and understanding of yourself that way, like I have a lot. But either way, enter my world and let's start the conversation. Because if you don't do the steps, then nothing happens. This internal change is required in order for you to arrive to the level of success that you want. Self-trust is an absolute necessity. And in all my programs, that is like literally we start there. We start from understanding your soul design and understanding how to trust your inner workings and how to recognize them and how to see what's in the way, and also how to parent your inner child if you're off, how to practically stand in your power at all times. So you're actually resonating that energy to the world. And then application of that onto your business, that the wealth can come to you, be magnetized to you, because you are in the correct frequency. So check out wealthbysouldesign.com if you don't have that book yet, because my book is going to help you understand a lot of what I just said. And of course, if you want to, for free, watch something more to understand how this process works, expandyourwealthcapacity.com. That is a mini series that you can just binge on, teeny little videos that will show you how this process that I just described can be applied onto your business to generate income at the whole next level, or just apply to talk to me. Because if we have this conversation, I can look at you, I'm clairvoyant, so I can see timelines and possibilities and what you're trying to do, and I can direct you to where you need to be. Maybe you're ready for my mastermind. Awesome. Let's dive in and create that quantum leap for you. And in 4 months from now, you can be literally selling offers at 10,000 or more. Literally, that's how fast it can happen. If you're not quite at that level, I have other things that I can offer you that are going to set you on the path of creating the type of business that you want to have that is soul aligned and profitable at the same time. So I'm going to leave you with the idea that self-trust is something that you can create. And the more of that you have, the more power you have, which translates into certainty of having results. All my clients know that in their being, their result, their outcome that they desire is inevitable because they are aligned with this internal certainty and self-trust. So wouldn't you want to feel like that? Wouldn't you want to feel, instead of all this doubt all the time and struggle, that like, oh my God, this is what I meant to do. This is going to happen for me. Of course, it's guaranteed because I said so. So if that is you, then definitely let's talk, and I will guide you as to what your next step needs to be in order for you to get to that state and get your business to work at the amazing level that it's meant to be, so that you help humanity awaken, because this is why we're all here, right? We're all here to serve. All right. My love to you.